just going to again discuss the possible threat for storms to marginally severe storms. Um, the one from Jason Simpson and all from WHT News 19. The, the, the threat is very, very low, and of course the threats would be very, very low, such as damaging winds, which is pretty much the main threat, and hail is also possible. And they're not really expecting much of a tornado threat. Of course, if it happens, it's not zero, but it's very low, but it's not zero. But um, but there'll be just a number of factors, the limiting factors that would keep the threat from happening. One of which, of course, is if there's not much or hardly ever any instability. Excuse me. Or shear or something like that. That would be one limiting factor. The other limiting factor would be is if there's if there's if, if there's storms along uh, if there's storms if there's a complex or so of storms along the Gulf Coast that stays there the entire time, then then they would cut off the outflow or inflow or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. It would cut off the inflow or so, and and it would greatly reduce the severe weather threat. And if there's storms that form in the afternoon, then they could potentially be severe. And of course, will there be any warnings? Probably not, but you never know. There could be one or two warnings that may end up being needed or required. And that does not mean you have to cancel your plans or anything like that. No, just uh, going about with your plans, whether it's going to a football game or having a cookout or something like that. But make sure your weather radios are still turned on, and make sure you have any of the free mobile apps. If you're in the Huntsville television market and you get WH&T News 19, WFF 48 News, or Y31 News, or WCDX News, all out of Huntsville, and the um, free mobile apps from uh, Fox 6 or WBRC Fox 6, that's Channel 6, and ABC 3340, and CBS 42, and WTVM 13, all in Birmingham, and WSFA 12, and the Alabama News Network, and the Rich Thomas Weather Network, all in Montgomery, and WALA 10, and WALA Fox 10, and WKRG in Mobile, and basically theirs along the Gulf Coast have their free mobile apps downloaded on your phone, your smartphone, Android or iPhone, or tablet or iPod or iPad, whatever you want to call it. And the bottom line is just make sure you have multiple ways of receiving the warnings, watches, and warnings if they're needed. And there's a good chance that they'll be needed along the Gulf Coast, where the threats a little bit, where the severe threats a little bit, severe weather threats rather higher than it is northward. But the bottom line is the severe weather threat for the Tennessee Valley, of course, the Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, Fayetteville, Fort Payne, Scottsboro. It's very, very low, but it's not zero. Of course, I mean, the severe threat is still possible. It's very low, but it's still possible. And is it going to be major or anything like that? No. But whether it's marginal or not, all it takes is one tornado or damaging wind or hail event or earthquake, whatever wild weather you have. All it takes is one of those out of the whole state coming down your street in your neighborhood to be something that you may or may not forget. I mean, it'll be a big deal. That's the bottom line. But but there's no need to be scared, no need to panic, no need to cancel any plans. Just make sure you have a way of knowing about the weather and getting the warnings if they are needed tomorrow, whether it's tonight or in the morning. Although, from what I've heard, there's nothing severe expected tonight. There may be some tomorrow afternoon. It's possible. The key word is possible. So the bottom line is we just need to just be on alert just in case, as a precaution. And of course, you're hearing that dinging noise and all this come from. Excuse me. It's all coming from whatever I'm getting on Twitter and Instagram and Google Plus and of course here on YouTube. But that's what you're hearing. But there's nothing going on that I'm aware of. Let me double check. But there's a number of tornado warnings in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Let's see. I mean, I've heard. Man, I've been getting multiple things about there being tornadoes confirmed, perhaps on the ground, but although I've not heard of any damage so far, I'm afraid it stays that way. Certainly, no one getting injured or killed, but you know, those few in Oklahoma and Arkansas and maybe parts of Mississippi still need to be on alert. They still need to be on guard. And even along the Arklatex or in the Arklatex, got to make sure you're being prepared. I'll end the video in a few minutes, but right now I'm not going to end the video. But again, just a reminder: the severe weather threat for those of us in the Tennessee Valley, it's pretty low at this point. It's a marginal risk, and what it means by that is isolated severe storms are possible. They'll be limited in duration, coverage, and intensity. Does that mean there won't be any at all? No. It means that there could be some, but it's very, very low. It's a very low threat. That's why they call it marginal. Where if we're in slight risk, like they have south of us, south of Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, Madison, Gadsden, they'll that means there's good confidence that there's severe weather possible and perhaps even likely. Now, if it were enhanced like they've got in parts of Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma and perhaps even in Louisiana, that would mean numerous thunderstorms are possible. Numerous severe thunderstorms are possible and likely. And if it were moderate or high, then that would be a very serious problem. There could have been an outbreak, but it's nothing like that. Well, it's not in Alabama anyway. See what I'm getting? Yeah. Yeah, there's one on the ground still. Eastern Oklahoma, northeast of Tenkiller. I've never heard of that. Man, hope anyone is down there. Hope they're getting in their safe place. They need to be in their safe place if they're not. But that's nowhere in Alabama. I can promise you that. But if you know anyone out in Arkansas that might be in the path of that tornado, make sure you let them know so they can getting ready, getting ready to take their tornado precautions, which they should be doing that now if they're not already. See. See. Can't get that on there. Shoot. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, that one for Hunt, Coughlin, Range, Rockwell, and Vincent County, Texas, till 11:15 p.m. Man, it's rocking and rolling down there. Just hope they're taking their tornado precautions. If they're not, they need to be. Mm, wow, that's pretty remarkable. Hmm. Oh, that's awesome. And this.